I'm Mohsin Hamid. I'm a novelist. I've written 5 novels, and my most recent is The Last White Man. In The Last White Man, a young man named Anders wakes up and his skin is dark. And when he went to bed the night before, his skin was light. And the novel is a story of him, his girlfriend Una, his father, and Una's mother, as they inhabit a world where this begins to happen to everyone. I think this book had sort of 2 different inspirations. One was just seeing all around the world the rise of a kind of tribalism, people dividing and feeling that they belong to a particular group, and that group is the real people and everybody else is not the real people. But also I had a particular experience around 9/11, more than 20 years ago, where in a way, I went to bed the night before, one kind of person. And the next day, I woke up and I saw that people were looking at me like a different kind of person. I had lived in New York and London just before that. So in a sense, this idea of waking up, being the same person, but people looking at you differently, and then discovering that when they look at you differently, you become something different, was part of my own life. I think it's less that our skin color creates our identity. It's more that we have chosen to have this imaginary belief that this thing called race exists. We've made it up. 500 years ago, we didn't have race in the modern sense. And I think in 500 years from now, we will not have race in the modern sense. But even though we've made it up, because we believe in it, it has power. And so it isn't that our skin color has an effect on our identity. It's that our skin color is connected to a belief system, and that belief system has an effect on our identity. I think it's not so much that we have to have the same skin color. In a way, the novel isn't about everybody becoming brown, although maybe it looks like that. The novel is about what happens when you can no longer sort people by looking at them. In the modern world, as we merge with machines, we are looking at things like machines look at things. And machines look at things through sorting. Are you 0 or 1? Are you like me or not like me? And we human beings are starting to become obsessed with sorting. Every country has a divide, a polarization of 0s and 1s. And the novel is more about what happens if that sorting mechanism breaks down. What if we become unable to see each other as different? What would happen then? And I think it's not that I imagine that we will suddenly stop seeing race. I think that we need to explore what it is to let go, to let the future be different from us. And that letting go is really what the book is about. I don't think I can convey the message of my novel in a short answer, because if I could, I wouldn't have written a novel. But literature is very important. And I think we must recognize how strange literature is. When you look at a television show or a film, you look at something that looks like the world. You're an audience, you're a viewer. But the reader of a novel is not a viewer. The reader of a novel is looking at a piece of wood with ink splattered on it. And then, while they stare at this piece of wood, they hallucinate for hours. In their imagination appears people, images, feelings, sensations, emotions. And the reader is making these things. They think the writer has given them these things, but actually the writer has just invited the reader to play make-believe together. And the reader in their imagination is making something. And so I think literature remains important because literature is the way, particularly as adults, one of the few ways we have to actually imagine things for ourselves with somebody else. And I think that's incredibly important, because if we don't imagine our way out of our current predicaments, we'll be stuck in these predicaments forever.